try to meet back up with Kyle.
What's going on, Jaden?
Nothing.
Nothing I can't handle.
Just hanging out.
Good. I ran into some trouble, but I'm almost to the top of the core.
I wonder
Yep.
why the Imperials are here now.
Now we're off on our own. Just hanging out. Gonna force lightning this trooper. These troopers are really irritating. I don't know if you can tell, but the guys with the jetpacks are so annoying. So we're actually going to ignore him and kill all of his friends for now. I always forget which side Drain is on, whether it's to the left or right of lightning in the little power list on the bottom of the screen. It is on the left, but I always forget. Alright, now that they're all dead, I think a door opened somewhere. Yeah, over here. So we're going to head on through this door and see if we can't meet up with Kyle.
Yes. You made a wise choice. The Master will soon return to lead us to glory.
Over here we have a couple Sith. We're going to try and blow them up.
Stop!
Because 2 against 1, you can really use whatever advantage you have, which can lead to evening the odds and killing them both in a single hit. Don't let it be said that I am not crafty. That can be a really difficult fight because it's the first time where you're fighting 2 against 1 and you don't have Kyle with you. So you are entirely alone. Especially if you're using light side powers. Now, maybe it's just because I'm bad with light side powers, but that always takes me a long time. Also, we tore that guy's hand off. But thankfully, we have Force Lightning and Force Drain to keep our health up. You guys aren't even worth my lightsaber. I'll save my lightsaber for more worthy opponents like this guy. Sometimes he'll jump off, which is annoying, because now he'll run all the way back around.
You are weak.
Unless he jumps back up, but he doesn't do that very often. Now let's just jump down and fight him. Where is he? Oh, right there. Now, the guys in the blue...
See how good you are.
Force push to break. Force grip, by the way. The guys in blue like this are generally really strong. They will use both lightsaber and force powers. And they will use Dark Rage, which is not a pleasant thing. Thankfully, it will drain their health as they use it. So if you can just avoid them for the duration of Dark Rage, you can just punch them when they're done, and they die. Unfortunately, Dark Rage will increase how much damage they can do by a factor of like 5. But they're still not a terribly huge threat. But don't take that to mean that guys with lightsabers aren't threats, because although we've seen very few enemies with lightsabers that can actually deal damage to us, later on, basically everyone with a lightsaber after this story mission becomes a major threat. Almost to the point where each one feels almost like a boss battle on its own. Gonna grab ourselves some shield before we head on, because shield is good for absorbing things that are absorbed with shields, like mustard. And we're gonna go up this elevator. I thought this elevator went down. Oh, did you see the little rat droid? That was a cool touch. I like little mouse droids. As usual, you can just tear through these guys with your Force Lightning. And here we have another guy with a lightsaber. Yes, I am a Jedi. Thank you for noticing. Really, I wish they would make a sequel to this game. Now that there's really nothing to say while we're fighting this guy other than fighting, 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 fighting. I really wish that there was a sequel made to this game, because this game came out nearly a decade ago, and yes, I do have a penchant for LPing games that came out about 10 years ago. But this lightsaber combat is seriously one of my favorite systems
We're wanted up in the
of
what?
not just
They're almost done.
lightsaber combat, but combat in general. This is one of my favorite combat systems ever made. Just the way that the lightsaber handles and how flashy it is. It's really just a pleasure to play. And truly, it's one of my favorite deathmatch games as well, because there is up to a 16-person deathmatch, including guns only, lightsaber only, or both, with variable levels for your... Oh god, more guys with lightsabers. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, because this is, you know... I just got stabbed in the face. Hopefully my penchant for quick saving every 5 seconds... Oh! I don't want to wait. I'm not waiting for that thing to come back up. Forward!
An intruder.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, this is like a dark side temple, so I guess it's not too much of a surprise that there are so many Sith here. But it's just like... This is where you start seeing a lot more of the lightsaber dudes, rather than them serving as kind of like breaks in between large groups of gun-wielding enemies, whether they're the mercenaries that we saw in the train or the stormtroopers that we were fighting earlier. So right there, he's doing what is known as a kata. I don't know if that's like the actual game's term for it, but in a lot of like strategies and stuff, that's known as the kata. It drains some of your lightsaber power to temporarily immobilize you. Should have known to avoid him when he was using Force Rage. It will temporarily immobilize you, but it will deal a huge amount of damage to anyone who gets close to you. However, it also takes a lot of your Force energy away. So if you're someone who uses a lot of offensive Force powers, or like relies on Force Drain or Force Heal to keep you alive, they can be risky because you're losing your Force abilities for a short amount of time. But as you can see, they're very, very powerful. It just killed both of those guys in a single hit. I'm gonna blow this wall out and head on down. There are more Sith down here. I know, what a surprise. Including this, I think they're called Reborn. They're guys that use Force powers but don't actually have lightsabers. They can honestly be really annoying because they like to keep their distance and use Force powers. Which, if you're someone like me who really, really, really likes your lightsaber, that can be a thing that is irritating. And they like to use Force Grip and Force Push and Force Pull to like keep you moving around, and they just generally mess with your movement,
I thought Jedi were powerful.
which is really, really irritating in the grand scheme of things. So we have one of them and a jetpack guy in the same place. So this can be one of the most irritating encounters of the level, if not the entire game.
I just got into the castle. Looks like you took care of everything down here.
Oh, he's dead.
Where are you now?
I don't even remember killing him.
I'm in a hangar.
Okay, I'll catch up with you soon.
Now, one of the coolest things I think about this level, and probably this game in general, is it doesn't like expressly point it out to you. Now, if this was like Force Unleashed, they would make a big deal of this and be like, "Oh my God, look!" But we're in a hangar. We have that TIE fighter and that TIE fighter, but this one's curved, but it's not a bomber. That is Darth Vader's personal TIE fighter. It's in for repairs, and it really shows that, yeah, this is where Darth Vader spent some of his time. And it really ties into the whole, this is an important place thing. Which I feel is a real subtle, but really effective touch to show, like, hey, this is an important place.
The Jedi are here.
Where are you?
There's no
There you
escape.
are.
Come get me, Jedi.
You know, this game is available on Steam, and it's really cheap, which makes me wonder why there aren't more people playing this online. Occasionally, you'll find a single, group of people playing this game online, but there's almost never any sort of, like, large group playing this game, which is really... Oh, I got them both with one swing again. God, I'm awesome. Which is really depressing, because this was the last real great, like, deathmatch-style Star Wars lightsaber dueling game. I know they've tried to do some on the Wii with the motion controls, but they never really amounted to much. Whereas this game is just, like, in everything it does, it's just amazing. The controls are a little awkward at times, but, you know, you're lightsaber fighting. It's worth a little bit of awkward controls. I mean, come on, think about it. I remember this guy being a little tough. I don't remember exactly why, but I remember dying to him a bunch. So let's go. Yes, here we have our first introduction, or our first experience with alternate lightsaber styles. This guy, as you can see, has 2 lightsabers. Double the lightsabers, double the fun. And double the amount of giant laser beams that are swinging around. Unfortunately, this is not a style that's readily available to the player, except... Oh, that's his kata. Very, very dangerous in close range. Oh, he's also really hard to break saber locks with, unless he pushes you. Now, he is another one like that boss that we fought on Hoth. He actually has lightsaber abilities that are 1 level higher than the players. So he can be a major challenge if you don't know what you're doing. And he will use Dark Rage to increase his damage dealing capabilities. And he's just a major challenge. And he's got double your lightsabers. So he can hit you twice as many times as you can. But if you're suitably skilled, he can be bested. Good night, sweet prince. And by sweet prince, I mean just die. Alright, this room is why I said bring the Demp gun. And quick save often. This room took me ages. I know I say that about a lot of things, but this part of the game took me forever. Because it spawns several droids, including these, which make your screen go all wobbly for a little while, because I guess they're like torture droids or something. If they hit you, your screen goes all wobbly for a little while, and you start taking damage. Now, the problem with this is, now they will spawn those assassin droids that we fought earlier that are basically unkillable, except if you have the Demp gun. The problem with this room is, there's really no readily available healing. There are med packs that spawn every other wave, but, like, you can't force drain these guys. So this might be the first time you really see something that is, yeah, they have lightsabers, too. This isn't the first time we've seen lightsaber-wielding droids. We had them in, the intro, when we were learning about our force powers. But these are much, much more powerful. The one in the intro we just kind of murdered without really thinking about it. But these are all but immune to force powers and have just a massive amount of health. And as you can see, they hurt. And they hurt bad. So, gratuitous quick saving is generally a good strategy here. Because, really, you're most of the time are just going to be running away from these things, trying to find an opening, and trying not to get stabbed while you're doing it. Thankfully, he missed there, but I'm not entirely sure how he did that. And I think these guys can block blaster bolts and stuff, so you have to confront them lightsaber to lightsaber, which you wouldn't think that you know, robots would be very good with lightsabers. But this is the most challenging fight we've had so far in this game. Thankfully, you can slice his head off. And that opens up the way we need to go to leave. The game actually gives you an in-game checkpoint right here, which is, you know, very appreciated. We're going to head up down this elevator. Just takes us down one level. And thankfully there's a bunch of really easy guys here that you can just force drain your health back after fighting all those droids.
The master favors me.
There are many Sith in here, though. Another one with 2 lightsabers. I don't think he's blocking the force powers when he does that little cross lightsabers over the head thing, but he's also very dangerous if you're not careful. Alright, we're gonna try that again. Heal up. And let's see if we can actually get this guy. Come on, he's just one guy. We fought more than him, and we fought harder than him before. We're gonna heal up on these guys, as usual. These are the Reborn, as you can see. They do have force powers. They will jump around, and they have a fairly sizable amount of health. But thankfully, they only have blasters, so they go down pretty simply. That guy just spun around. Why are you so silly, Mr. Sith? Sith are not supposed to be silly. Sorry for being quiet here, but it's a combination of difficult lightsaber fighting, and there's
Someone didn't like Vader much.
not really a huge amount to say during these lightsaber fights. There will be more to say later, in later fights, but this guy is just like, hey, we're in a room, we have lightsabers, and we're gonna hit each other with them. And hopefully, the person who gets hit first isn't me. Thank you very much.